What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's FXK Weekly Forecast Breakdown Series Volume 4, guys. Sorry about last week. Had a lot of things going, so I wasn't able to drop the breakdown for last week. But nonetheless, guys, we are here now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest market forecast. With that being said, guys, we'll go ahead and dive on in to this week's FXK market review. Some of the pairs that I'm looking at this week are going to be AUDUSD, EURCAD, EURNZD, USDCAD, USDJPY, and I'll show you guys what I'm looking at on the US30. I don't normally trade it that much, but I do have a nice technical doodle for you guys to watch out for to potentially catch some pips on, okay? So starting off, AUDUSD, guys. For those who don't know, AUDUSD is my favorite pair. What I'm looking at right now is for a potential bounce maybe out of this zone, right? So on the daily, you guys can see that we've come into a pretty nice area here as far as demand, right? And so what I'm looking for is for price to maybe retrace out of this zone. Okay, so we've been selling for a long time on AUDUSD since the top. Here, there's a double top. Actually, let me put it on the daily. You guys will see from this high, the year's high, there's a double top right here, right? So we've been selling for a very long time, right? And so we got that huge sell-off not too long ago, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, that started off here, and we've just kind of been thriving to the downside. And we finally shown another area of support. We've shown a brief support here, but you guys can see as it headed down, we kind of made the series of lower highs, lower lows, but that support overall was just broken. You guys can see that lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then we just took out that support to head down. So now we've kind of formed a double bottom in this support zone. So I'm watching price action. Let me go down to the 1 hour for you guys. I'm watching price action right now to kind of see what's going to happen in this area. Let's look at the 4 hour actually to see what exactly potentially could happen in this area. Overall, to take this trade safely, you will want to look for a break above this resistance, okay? We're looking for a break above a potential retest to around this zone, which is our 1272 Fibo level, and then we're going to look for that bounce off support to take the long. If you're looking for shorts, guys, which I kind of posted this yesterday, so price action was right here. So for some of the members, you guys might have already taken some shorts here. I do want you guys to watch out for this support area and this support as well. So just be mindful if it does keep dropping down, which it definitely can. We might see a retracement either where we're at right now. Potentially we might see something like this, okay, where we're at now. Or we might pull down a little bit deeper to that 61.8 and then retrace up. I don't think the 61.8 is more likely if we're going to head up, seeing how the daily time frame is looking. As far as that double bottom, we can see previously before today's close here that previous close was pretty strong as far as on the daily side. And so we've shown a little bit of rejection in this area, right? So the momentum is kind of slowing up. So let's see how price reacts in the zone. If we're able to pick back that momentum up, again, we're not taking this pair for buys unless we break above this resistance. So if price action does push back up, then that's going to clearly let us know that the momentum does want to push back to the upside. So we can definitely then expect this scenario to kind of play out. And so if you are a more aggressive trader, then you guys can look for the break above resistance and take those buys. Just be mindful of a potential pullback in this area. If you're a more conservative trader, then wait for the safer entry on the pullback to support and then take the buy up, okay? Overall, if we break this resistance, I'll look for price to overall potentially reach the weekly resistance around that 70500 level, okay? You guys can see here on the daily that was a previous nice support area, so that should definitely be a nice resistance as far as in future price action. So keep eye on that on AUDUSD, guys. Again, if we continue to sell, so for the selling scenario, if we continue to sell, for those who are already in this trade, just keep a tight stop loss. For those who are not in this trade, look for price to break this support. Again, be mindful of each of these two levels. If it breaks that support, then you kind of just want to watch that 61.8 for a potential retracement. If it does break that support and start to trickle down here, just keep a tight stop loss as it heads to the downside. Once it breaks this area, then you know that we're going to head down to the previous lows. So at that point, you can move your stop loss a little bit more in profit. So that's AUDUSD, guys. EURCAD. So this is one of the pairs though I do like a little bit more right now. We have potentially a retracement off of this TL here, our counter trend line that was previously broken. You guys can see we got a strong daily impulse up to this candlestick. I'm sorry, this trend line here. And then the next day candle showed us that indecision as far as price action weakening. We also got a spinning top as the candle closed. So the candlestick after that formed as a bearish engulfing. And we also closed back below that 50 EMA, which I do like. And it should play as a minor resistance for us right now. Overall, we're looking for sales once we break below this support. So that's going to be the confirmation for us. As far as the premium members, we're looking for a break below this daily low that was formed. This daily candle just closed not too long ago, guys. So we're looking for, once price breaks below this low, we'll look for sales. Again, if you're more conservative, wait for price to retest back to the zone and then take the sell. If you want to take this a little bit more aggressive, then look for price to break that low. And once it breaks that low and get to the support, you can kind of make your decision whether you want to move your stop loss to entry or just a little bit closer to entry. Me personally, until it makes this retracement, I'm not going to move it to entry. So I'll probably just move it a little bit closer to entry, which is no problem. And from there, we'll look to ride this down to the previous lows. I'll go ahead and show you guys this on one chart. So we'll look to ride this down to the previous lows, which is going to be here. As a TP2, TP1 is going to be around the 5,000 level, okay? And TP3, we're looking at this last zone here around the 4,900 level. So you guys can see the overall of what I'm seeing here, okay? So on the higher time frame, a little bit up on that 4-hour time frame, we just formed that double top here. So we were watching this pair since market open. We saw price a little bit right here, showing kind of that bullish movement once market open here, but then we got that rejection out to start to form that double top. Okay, so just keep an eye on that, guys. Overall, I'm looking for the downside on this pair, and that's EURCAD. EURNZD. So this pair we've been watching for about 2 weeks now. It was in this consolidated area. We're looking for that breakout of this consolidated area to the downside. We didn't get it. We got a pop back up. Okay, you guys can see that we made another high here. So potentially just a false break. Okay, so keep eye on EURCAD on the daily time frame. We're at a very critical area as far as a double top in this zone here. Okay, so we might see a long-term projection out of this zone back to these lows. So what I would look for on price actions is to see overall, I want this resistance right here to hold. This should be the established high. I want this resistance to hold overall if we're going to see the long-term drop. We do have a counter trend line that is coming up. It hasn't made 3 tests yet. It's only made 2. So for those of you, as far as my students, I'll let you guys know that we look for at least 3 tests as far as if it's going to still respect. If it's the 4th touch, then it more than likely would break. So we're on the 3rd touch, so it could still bounce, okay? So watch out for this support area. This is really going to be the critical decision area, whether we're going to go back to that upside and rebound or if we're going to break and start to see some new lows be formed here. So that's EURNZD. Overall, watch this zone for a bounce or a break. If we break, look for the retest and then the continuation down. You guys can catch the entry on the retest. USDCAD. So this pair right now has been really choppy, guys. It's been consolidated for a couple of weeks now. Okay, so price action is just not in my favor as far as beautiful as I'd like to see it on this pair. Right now, we formed this consolidated area. Okay, me personally, I want to see sales on this pair. The higher time frame suggest potential further downside, seeing that we have a little divergence also in this area. On the high time frame, we might actually be forming a double top, which the lows will be established here, the left shoulder here and the right shoulder here, giving us a little bit of divergence. And potentially long term, we might actually achieve the 1.31 thousand level. So keep eye on that. Me personally, I'm looking for sales below the daily support. We're going to look for drop below that daily support. I do want to see some nice closure on a higher time frame, preferably the 4-hour or the 8-hour or maybe even the daily. And then we'll look for a lower time frame retest, and then we'll look to take those sales for the continuation down. Target 1 would be 1.3300. Target 2 would be 1.32500. Target 3 would be 1.3200. Okay, and target 4 would be 1.31 thousand, which would be here, that final zone. So that's USDCAD for the downside. For the upside, I would only be looking for upside if we break above this resistance. If we break above this resistance, then you guys can watch for a quick scalp up to the 35,700 level. If we do break this level, then we should achieve previous highs, which would be around this level, which would, I would say, the 1.36500 level is what I would actually target. So keep eye on that on USDCAD. If we break this level, then we could see this level be achieved. On the downside, if we break this counter trend line and support, I'm looking for further downside on USDCAD overall. Next pair that we'll look at is USDJPY. So on this pair, just kind of a little scalping doodle for me. I'm not looking for anything too long-term on this pair. Right now, I'm actually just watching price action to see how it plays out. So truly, we'll be breaking this one down together right now. I've kind of already done a little bit of doodling on here, marking up a couple of key levels to me. If we're going to go to the upside, I want to see price achieve and break this level, and then these two upside targets would be in play. Me personally, I would actually like to see a little bit more of the downside on USDJPY. I want to see this previous demand be achieved. Okay, right now we're kind of consolidating. So if we break out of this consolidated range to the downside, then my first target is going to be here, which is that 109,300 level. And then the second target, I'll be looking to target anywhere as far as price action in this zone. So just watch for that. USDJPY, we might be making a double top right now as well. And if we take that measurement for the double top, and we duplicate that measurement, it'll lead us achieving that TP1. So if this double top is to play out, this TP1 should be hit very smoothly. That'll be a nice play to watch out for. So that's USDJPY. Personally, I'm looking for the downside favorably. Again, this is not a market execution. Price would need to break the support in order for me to want to take the sales. If it breaks this resistance, again, not this one, but this resistance, then I would actually look for bullish price action to start forming, to look for further upside positions on USDJPY. So for everyone's new favorite here, USD30, I know some of you guys have been waiting. What I'm looking for this pair, it's a very heavy pair, so I like to trade this one safely if, okay, so right now we've kind of started this little rising wedge here, okay. So it's on a lower time frame. So we're going to see how this plays out. Me personally, I'd like to see a little bit more downside on this pair looking at the higher time frame. We also do have the trend being our friend as far as in the downside. We can see that we have been in a bearish trend so far on the 4-hour. If we go to the 1-hour time frame, you guys can see this consolidation a little bit better here for this rising wedge. So let's see how this plays out at resistance. Overall, I think the safe trade would be to wait for price to break this support and then look for your sells all the way down. And then you guys can watch that retracement and then look for some more interest as far as for further positions down on the US 30. Overall, I'm not going to be looking to take any positions in this area. I do like the resistance being shown right now. We can see the exhaustion as we head up to the upside. These wicks failing to close above this range here. So I do like seeing that right now. If we close with another wick in this range, that is going to kind of show me that we're establishing a resistance right now. So you guys can also watch out for this if you're a little bit more aggressive on the USD 30 and you're looking for sales a little bit early. Me personally, I'll wait for the safer trade for price to break the support, and then target 1 would actually be this for first support level. Target 2 would be here, and then if we're looking long term, I would actually like to reanalyze once we get this retracement, because we could go a little bit deeper. We could come back into resistance and then drop, or we could just respect this area and give just a minor pullback and then see further downside into the 24800 level. So that's what I'm looking for on the US 30, guys. Just a quick recap on a couple of pairs that we're looking at this week. AUDUSD. Me personally, I favor the upside right now. We are getting some respect at resistance, so the downside cards are in play right now. Upside cards wouldn't be in play until we break the resistance. So for you guys that are selling right now, kudos, guys. Just make sure you're mindful of this support here and this support here. EURCAD, what I'm looking for is overall a downside. I'm watching for price to break below this support region, and then we'll look for the sellers to come into the market to see price achieve overall this demand zone. If we're looking a little bit further as far as long term, then this area would definitely be nice to see price achieve. If we drew a Fibbo from this swing low to the current swing high, we can see that 1272 is just below this zone. So us targeting this zone should be nicely achieved, because usually we would see our reversals around this extension level, because this is the level where price usually shows that overall exhaustion as far as for the trend. That's EURCAD, guys. EURNZD, we're looking for a bounce or a break at the counter trend line and the support. So watch out for this area. If we do break below support, watch for that retest and then look for the bears to come into the market to achieve further downside. Okay, this would be target 1. Overall price action target, we could actually achieve the 1.66500 level. So watch out for that on EURNZD. USDCAD, me personally, I favor the downside, guys. I'm looking for price to break out of this consolidation and actually break below the daily support. Remember, we want to see a higher time frame candlestick close below the support, preferably at 8 hour and above. We could watch the 4 hour as well to see how that closes, but again, we want to make sure we can confirm it with the highest time frame we can, because it's been so choppy. So we want to make sure we can get a solid, secure entry before we look to take this pair back to the downside, because we don't want to get caught in any fake outs, guys. So that's USDCAD. Watch for that break below support for the buyers, guys, because we want to make sure we catch this either way. If we break above this resistance, then I'll be looking to just take a quick scalp. Okay, just a quick scalp up to this resistance. I might not look to buy it up here. Me personally, I might just take the buy from here to this zone, okay, which is that 1.35700 level. USDJPY, guys, me personally, I want to see more downside on this pair. I really want to see the 109-100 level be achieved, and then we might look for long-term bulls to come into the market to see price get back to that upside. As far as for me to trade this pair to the downside, I'm waiting for price to break out of this consolidated range that it is showing right now. Remember, we also potentially might have a double top forming in here as well. So to take this safely, just wait for price to break out of this consolidated range to the downside. You guys can take a quick little scalp here. This should be a nice little amount of pips, honestly. Let's see, from here to this support's around 14 pips, and then to the next overall zone is around 30 pips. So a quick little scalp we can look for on USDJPY. Overall, again, wait for a price to break out of the zone to the downside. If it breaks above the zone, then don't take the quick buy just yet, because we might see another wick into this range. Wait for price to break above this resistance and then look for the buys. So we're not looking for buys unless we break above this resistance. We're looking for sales if we break below support. USD 30, guys, we just kind of explained this one in this nutshell. Personally, I'm looking for sales below the support. Right now, we are kind of showing a little resistance. We can see that these wicks are showing that indecision in this level. Price action has failed to break above this resistance. So let's see how this plays out. If we can hold the resistance here, and see further downside. We also have kind of this little rising wedge forming here. So let's see what happens on the USD. I'm sorry, the US30 here. Me personally, again, I'm looking for further downside. That's all for today's weekly market forecast, guys. I do want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Again, sorry for last week, guys. Got a little bit busy there. Thank all of you for subscribing as well, guys. If you haven't already, don't forget, guys, to subscribe. That way you stay up to date on the latest market forecast videos that I do drop. And if you like these videos, guys, and want to continue seeing these videos, don't forget to like the video as well. And I'll see you guys on the next week's breakdown. As always, guys, have a happy trading week.